Before we dive in, here's another show you can enjoy in the True Story FM family of entertainment podcasts.
Do you ever get to the end of a movie where the hero had to make a difficult choice, and all you want to do is talk to people about whether they made the right one?
Watch an episode of Star Trek and spend the next few days thinking about the rights of synthetic beings like Data and the Doctor. I became a co-host of the Superhero Ethics podcast because I love those questions, and the people at Wendy's are tired of hearing me talk about them.
We're not a review podcast. We're more interested in questions the characters face and how different works approach similar questions. Sometimes we'll even go behind the camera, talking about how on-screen media gets made and how that affects what questions get asked, which ones don't, and who gets to ask them.
We hit a wide range of media: movies, TV shows, books, and video games.
You can find us under Superhero Ethics wherever you listen to podcasts or go to theethicalpanda.com. But you can also do far more. We love listener feedback and we'll happily talk about your questions or comments on air, and members get special bonus content.
Hashtag not sponsored by Wendy's.
Well, howdy folks, my name is Lester Ryan Clark.
And I'm Keenan Diaz.
And we're the hosts of The Exorcist Minute, a show where we examine, extrapolate, and excavate the scariest movie of all time.
Each episode covers a single minute of William Friedkin's 1973 horror masterpiece, The Exorcist.
If you like deep dives, this show is the deepest.
Did you know the film's iconic theme song, Tubular Bells, wasn't written specifically for the movie?
Or that the 1973 audience members were throwing up and fainting in the theater before they ever got a glimpse of the demon?
Or what about all the crazy on-set mishaps, cast injuries, the director firing real guns?
Ooh, ever wonder where Ouija boards came from or how they got their name? How about some history on the Catholic Church or the Roman rite of exorcism? Or maybe we can tempt you with some juicy demonology lore. Did you know that Pazuzu had an ex-wife? Find The Exorcist Minute on iTunes or Spotify or wherever you listen to your shows, or at theexorcistminute.com. Until next time, folks,
the power of The Exorcist compels you.
Hello and welcome to this episode of the Star Wars Generations podcast. Today we're continuing our coverage of Skeleton Crew, Episode 5. Friends, it is December 27th. Most of us are doing fun holiday things, but we decided, even with all of that, even though most things have closed down, most podcasts are closed down for the year, we are here because we want to give you our Skeleton Crew coverage because we have so much to say. We just watched Episode 5, and we're here to talk about it. It is myself, fast-talking Matthew, who can't seem to stop. I don't know why I've decided to talk fast, but I'm just going to keep talking fast. It has nothing to do with the fact that I've had a hell of a lot of sugar over the holiday, so that's been pretty great. But I'm also here with Alex and Aaron, one of whom is going to cut me off at some point soon, I hope, and I'm going to keep talking.
That's on you, Alex. I want to hear about your thoughts on this episode.
Me?
Yeah, you.
I thought so. I watched the episode a couple of days late, but then when I watched it, I was like, "Wow, this might be one of my favorite episodes of television I've ever seen." It really to steal Aaron's description of it, because I thought it was really perfect when we texted about it. It's like a combination of National Treasure, Stranger Things, and what was the third thing you said?
I think I just said Star Wars.
And Star Wars. Well, it is truly like this to me. Felt like. It really felt. I mean, I've said it a million times, but it really felt like the Goonies in the Star Wars setting. It had everything from like, it gave us little like important nuggets to some of the mystery. We got to see an actual like treasure hole. You got to see some of the weird, like, it's so silly, but like the banking clan being present made me geek out. Like just like a little like nerdy, like little references to things to the larger world, which I was like, okay, put me back in the Star Wars universe for a second. The booby traps, all of it felt like it did. It felt very like National Treasure, which I freaking love National Treasure. And it felt like, I don't know, Pirates of the Caribbean, National Treasure, Star Wars, all of my favorite things, all literally wrapped into one episode. And it was just like, I loved every second of it, including the captain battle. I challenge you for captain, and then little Wim tries to use a lightsaber and almost cuts his leg off. And now funny, adventurous, exciting, connected to the larger world, and everything I could have wanted in an episode.
What about yourself, Aaron?
Oh, I loved it. It was fun. We watched it on Christmas Day because we did our family stuff on the Christmas Eve.
Uh-huh.
So my sister, I think she was like showering or something. So we were like, we're going to do this. No, she's napping before she gets up because she doesn't really give a shit about Star Wars usually.
Mm-hmm.
But my parents and I have been watching it. So we started watching it, and then she immediately woke up and was like, what the hell is this? We said Star Wars. She went, ugh. But then she enjoyed it. And when Wim did the lightsaber thing, she was like, I fucking knew that was gonna happen. I knew he was gonna do that shit. I was like,
Mhm.
yeah, he's a dumbass, but
I
he's
also
adorable.
suspected that would happen.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, it was just fun to watch it with the whole family. It was just like a fun little adventure. It really did feel like National Treasure or like even, I mean, Indiana Jones, something like that. It's
Yeah.
just been so it's been so long for me since I've watched any of those types of movies. So it was just like really, really fun to see it brought into my favorite universe. What were
Yeah,
your thoughts, Matthew?
I totally hear you. So my sister was with us, along with her husband and their new baby. And she is not a Star Wars fan, and I was not able to convince her as you were. So you have a leg up on me. No pun intended there. Um, in terms of family stuff, but I did get to finally watch it late last night after everyone had gotten on their plane and headed out. And yeah, it was just so much fun. It was fantastic. It was, I, especially because like I like how they're doing a great job of continuing to add more and more to the mystery of it all and the questions we have, but they're also keeping us so entertained that I'm not like chomping at the bit, like, oh my God, tell me. Because like,
Mhm.
we have this guy in Jod who has some kind of force powers, clearly. Like I think at this point, the idea that it was all just like magnets or a trick, he seems to have some kind of actual
Oh,
force power.
100% has force powers of some kind.
And we're all like, okay, but he's certainly not like a Jedi. And we talked about why he probably wasn't like, we don't want Order 66 coming up into this show. But then he gives that little talk about like, be careful about attachments. And that sounds super familiar to
I
us.
went,
And I think if the show didn't have the whimsy it did, if it didn't have all the fun stuff, I'd just be sitting here like, oh my God, once again, I'm wishing this was like all released at once because just get me the damn answers to this. But instead, I'm like, okay, that's cool. But oh my God, look at what Wim is doing. Look at what all these kids
Mhm.
are doing. Because you're right. The lightsaber moment was fantastic. And I feel like this is not the show that is going to fundamentally change the way I think about Star Wars and like add a huge amount to my view of the canon, the way something like, like the Clone Wars or Last Jedi or the Acolyte did. But it's so much fun. Like I'm loving it, and I think it is as you kind of said, as you said, Alex, like having the banking clan there just really feels like it's just making the world feel bigger,
Mhm.
because not everything that happens in this galaxy should be related to the Skywalkers or Palpatine or Project Cinder. It doesn't have to be part of this great story, but it just shows you like, yeah, there's pirates out there. There's bankers out there. There's people doing dirty deals out there. And this is just an adventure that happens in it. And I don't think I could have put it that way, but I would say this is exactly what I wanted next from Star Wars.
Yeah, low stakes, lots of fun. Like, I feel like when this show was made, if this show, like, wasn't amazing or if it flopped, like the stakes are so low because it doesn't connect to the larger story really in a super meaningful way, at least not yet. But if it hits, it's just like a really good standalone little Star Wars story.
Yeah.
It is lovely. I've been recommending it to a lot of people, like, especially people who don't watch the Star Wars shows. I'm
Mhm.
like, hey, I mean, if you like Star Wars and you liked Stranger Things, I feel like give it a go because you don't
Yeah.
have to know a ton about Star Wars. It's not going to play into all these bigger things that you don't understand or don't care about. It's really just like a fun little thing.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm really glad that we have something like this again. Because even like, I feel like Clone Wars or Rebels almost started out like that, like hee hee. And then it like really quickly got dark and meaningful,
Uh-huh.
which I love and I'm very
Right.
happy about. But I do like to have, I like the idea of having a show that's more like pure.
Yeah. I think that's really true. And it's like you mentioned Stranger Things, and I think Stranger Things is fantastic. People should check it out. I'd also say that Stranger Things is itself an homage to the kind of shows from the 80s that I think this is also kind of referencing a lot, like Goonies.
Mm.
Adventures in Babysitting is another fun one. Where it's funny how we talked about the low stakes of us. Stand by Me is another great one. We talked about the kind of low stakes of this. Part of what I loved about those things is that for the characters in a lot of those shows, one of the things it's about is about kids discovering actual real stakes for the first time. Like, like that it's a lot about kids thinking they're just having a fun adventure. And then all of a sudden they're literally facing death. All of a sudden they're literally facing something horrible. And in a lot of ways, they're about that kind of coming of age of realizing, like, mom and dad can't fix everything, like all that kind of stuff. And so I think it's kind of a brilliant thing that on the one hand, like, we're talking about how this is low stakes. A character literally had decided, like a 10-year-old girl had decided if she wanted to fight to the death for something. Like for her, for Wim, for the kids, this is the highest stakes in the world. But it's in the kind of larger frame of the universe that's very low stakes. And I just think it's such a great balance.
And I'm just an absolute hoe for a treasure-related mystery.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, poor children being threatened by this scary man. That was real bad. Jude Law, shame on you, fucking asshole. I'm hoping that there's some sort of redemption moment for him, but maybe he's just a pirate through and through, a little slimo. I also am mad. I want to see the hologram of the old pirate. I
Right?
want to know what he looked like. I just kept picturing his face like Davy Jones.
Yeah, exactly. It's interesting kind of the turn that Jod took in this episode. I don't know. It's like part of me doesn't buy it. Like I buy it, but I don't. I do. I don't know. Basically, okay, here's how it went. I watched it and I went, holy shit, Jod's a fucking asshole. And then my sister went, wait, do you think he picked up the lightsaber to help him like fight off the pirates so he could go find the kids? I was like, oh shit. Because here's the thing. Threatening Fern, fucked up. You really did not have to do all that with the fucking knife. Really didn't have to do all that. But my sister pointed out, she was like, well, if he tells the droid to put them on the ship because they're prisoners, that keeps the children safe. And the children aren't going to listen to Jod to keep themselves safe. Just a harebrained
He also
thought.
could have picked up the lightsaber to like kill the pirates for his own gain.
I mean, yeah, that's very possible.
No,
but I hope he uses it and does crazy stuff.
I think you're kind of onto something, Aaron, there. And I think that may be, like, I think it's entirely possible that he's just a scumbag and he's just out for himself. And I think that's a totally fair way for this to go. But I did think, and kind of related to what I was just saying about it, part of why I was thinking about that is that it felt like maybe he is trying to be like, look, I have to be the captain to both get what we want. And yeah, I'm going to get rich out of it. And that's awesome. But like also to keep these kids safe to some extent. But also he's kind of doing what I'm talking about is he wanted to scare the living hell out of Fern because he wants these kids to realize this isn't a game. This isn't fun and games. I can't let you guys be the captain anymore. You're going to get yourselves really in trouble or get yourselves literally killed. And which again is like, it's very not Jedi and it's awful and terrible. And Fern's going to make some therapists very, very rich over the next 30 years, but may also be what saves their lives. And I love that we don't know, and I'm okay if it goes either way.
Yeah, I think something that like helps with an episode like that is you have, the kind of plot twist, oh shit, but the episode concludes so quickly that you don't see any of the characters sitting with the emotional impact of what just happened, which leaves the option of the impact being not what we expect it to be.
Yeah.
Which I kind of like.
I think it's very true.
I always like when something like that's done instead of like, here's the cliffhanger and now they're enemies forever, obviously. Kind of a thing. And then it's like, oh, now we wait for the next movie. I'm talking about trilogies now. But
yeah, waiting a week versus waiting 2 years or 3 years or 4 years, depending on how things go, or 15 years, 18 years if you're a fan of particular books. Looking at you, George R.R. Martin. It's definitely true. Let me switch gears though for a second because we're talking about lightsabers and I want to talk about women in the lightsaber. Let me just first ask this. Aaron, for you, how essential was it to get Ahsoka's lightsabers as part of your cosplay?
Oh, I was so ashamed. The one con I went to and I didn't have her correct hilts. Like that was paramount for me. Like I need to have her hilts.
Yeah. And how does it make you feel? Like I've seen like so many awesome pictures of you, like not just like wearing them, but holding them and doing stuff with them.
I mean, like it's sick as fuck. I don't know. I like my lightsabers because they're a very durable brand, so they have a lot of weight. It makes them feel more real than like a Disney saber. It's also comfortable in the hand, unlike Disney sabers for me. I have small hands; they're way too big.
Yeah.
So I like the ones that I have because they almost like feel real. Obviously, they're fragile. That being said, I've dropped them a ton, and they don't like break easy.
Yeah.
But I'm not trying to like smash it against a tree and waste $1,500. You know.
Right.
So yeah, basically, it feels really sick to hold a lightsaber.
Yeah.
Yes.
I bring all
wish
this up.
I could use them.
I bring all this up because if anyone's got some holiday money burning a hole in their pocket, or they just said, screw it, I gave gifts to everybody else, I want a gift for myself. Or if you're celebrating Christmas on January 6th, or you just need to get someone a late gift or anything
7th.
like that, January 7th. Thank you
Crazy
so much.
thing to say.
I understand the Orthodox Christmas. I'm just bad at math.
No, you're fine. No, yeah, Aaron, I celebrate Christmas on January 7th.
No, yeah, I know that.
Oh,
It's just
okay.
the mistake is very funny.
Oh, yeah, no, keep
No,
going.
exactly.
Sorry.
The point being, this show is now sponsored by Level Up Lightsabers. If you've heard of Neighborhood Master Alan, he does a lot of great TikTok content. He did an episode with us that is still in like sound processing hell, but we're gonna have him back. We'll have it up eventually. But you've seen me talking to him on TikTok and Twitter quite a lot. Level Up Lightsabers makes incredible sabers. To be clear, it's not the ones that Aaron made because we got the sponsorship deal pretty recently. I knew about them for a while. Aaron decided to go with a lesser inferior brand. I'm just kidding. Other brands are great too. But my point is, Level Up Sabers has great deals right now. They have the Ahsoka hilts. They have Anakin's hilt. They have he loves, like, if a hilt appears for 5 seconds on screen, he's probably made it. And
if
if
he
you're
makes
not
the one from Skeleton Crew now.
Exactly. And if you're not just if you're not just a Star Wars person, like all kinds of awesome swords made into lightsabers, you can get a great deal on them if you go to the link in our show notes for Level Up Lightsabers. You get to help out the podcast. You get to get yourself or someone else a great lightsaber. Totally worth checking out. So just wanted to throw that out there. A little bit of trying to pay the bills around here while also having a fun conversation. Meanwhile, though, how did y'all feel about Wim turning on that lightsaber? Oh, wait, first, Aaron had a question.
This is kind of unrelated, but while you were doing that pitch, I just watched a chipmunk chase a squirrel, and then the squirrel chased it back. They were playing, and then the squirrel got the acorn, so maybe actually they were fighting.
We are such
Anyways,
an ADHD
let's get back to
podcasting crew.
We are really an ADHD podcast. I'm just impressed, though, because I would have no idea how to tell what's a squirrel and what's a chipmunk. I think it has something to do with their tails.
Chipmunks are squirrels are like 3 times the size of a chipmunk.
I grew up in New York
small.
City. Why do you think I would know this?
Because chipmunks are like this big. Squirrels are like this big.
Well,
either one
New
of
York
them,
City
like-
just has rats, so
Fair.
Anyway, so Women the lightsaber. What do we think?
I was fully expecting that to happen. Okay, so like when he first picked it up, I was like, this boy's gonna like hurt himself or do something stupid. But then the music got like really intense. I was like, okay, wait, maybe he'll figure it out and it'll be kind of epic for a second. And then I whatever Jude Law is going by now, whatever new name he has, he's called like 3 names in the show so far.
Mm-hmm.
Is just gonna like use the force to rip it out of his hand or something silly. Like I expected something silly to happen, but I was like, man, is Wim gonna actually have like a moment here where he looks bad at? No. But it was still cool to see like the lightsaber ignited even for just a second, like, and it made me like ponder and wonder, like, how did this pirate come across a lightsaber? Did he kill a Jedi? Did he plunder a Jedi ship? What did he was this a plunder from one of the youngling excursions to Ilum from ancient times? Who knows? But it was very fun to see, and I'm very curious to see if Jude Law is adept with said lightsaber, because that might give us a little more credence into or information on what his past is.
I hope that he's like low-key shitty at it, but like good at it. I'm thinking specifically about the episodes in Rebels where they're trying to teach Sabine how to use the dark saber and how a lightsaber like needs to be connected with and whatnot. So I want him to be like have a lot of trouble with it, but like kind of pick it up quickly.
Yeah,
because he already seems to be pretty in touch with the Force, at least, to use it for his own gain. So yeah, that's kind of what I want to see, is him like struggling, but then like kind of getting it and slaying.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, I kind of thought that Wim was gonna I was a little like, okay, this is when we learned that Wim is force sensitive as well, and it turns.
Oh, I was talking about Job.
No, I know.
Okay.
I'm just saying, like, for me, when Wim turned that lightsaber on, I felt almost a sense of relief as well as funny, because I thought it was going to be like all about like Wim is force sensitive now and Jod's going to teach him. But no, having it be like, nope, this is just Wim thought this was a toy. It's not a toy. He totally has no idea what he's doing. And then setting it up that like I think it's Chekhov's lightsaber. Like we're gonna do something with it before the end of the show. And I think you're right. It'll probably be with Jod, like showing like, yeah, he's because I don't want him to be an Order 66 like lost Padawan. I don't think the numbers add up, and I just don't want that. But yeah, the idea that he's just been a force sensitive person bouncing around and has no idea what a lightsaber is, but because of the force sensitivity, he's able to figure it out pretty quick. I do think it'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah. I will say when Wim picked up the lightsaber, I really thought he was going to have his moment. I really thought he could like flick it on. And then I thought like the counterweight would be too much and maybe it would like fall to the side or something. But no, he just nearly chopped his legs.
Which was comedy, I will not lie.
That shit went flying. It was good comedy.
Yeah, it was well done.
He didn't even hold on to it or like pick it back up to like threaten another second. He just immediately just dropped it. I was like, boy,
he ran. He ran to hide.
He ran, and I was like, boy, like,
yep.
Also bold of them after they ran to like use the little trap door when there was just acid in the outside room. Like you don't know where that trap door goes. Like what? I don't know. I found that really interesting. I also just found the general treasure room. I mean, I was like geeking out. I also like want to go back and just like scan every inch of the screen to see if I can like pick up on any like little like I don't know like different like things from different cultures or things we've seen before. But I was very intrigued to learn that At-Aten is the last remaining Old Republic mint. That's what they said the treasure is. And I want to know if they mean like because now we're like in the New Republic, if they mean like the Republic before the Empire, or they actually mean the Old Republic. Because if they mean the Old Republic, that would be freaking awesome. And it is like, supposed to be like a really, really old pirate and all these ancient texts. Like it wouldn't surprise me if it was like the Old Republic. But if that's the case, has At-Aten been operating, and they talk about the Republic and these old Jedi and Sith texts, have they been operating with like the knowledge and the belief system of the Old Republic from thousands of years ago? Because if so, that would be so cool. I don't know why. I would find that so much cooler than just operating in the like pre-Empire Republic mindset. And it would be like the first time any sort of live action Star Wars or, really makes a direct reference to the Old Republic in like a larger way, and could be a possible like nod or segue to that supposed film we're gonna get relate like on a James Mangold film that's supposed to be like 25,000 years ago or something. I don't know. I'm getting too deep into it, but I was just excited.
Yeah, I hope it goes back to like the Old Republic as well, not like the pre-Empire Republic. Because I mean, I was thinking about this while you were talking. I was like, but do those credits look that much like credits from the Clone Wars? I feel like it's a similar shape, but I just don't, off the top of my head, I can't think of if Clone War era credits have what they have printed on them.
Right.
To know if they look like those doubloons or whatever they called them.
Like we've reprinted money entirely in my day. Like, and I every now and then I'll see like you may see them as well. Like see like one of the older like $20 bills or something like that clearly looks like it's not like with the newer green and stuff like that. It looks a little more faded, but those aren't worth a lot more. Those are like 30, 40 years old, but like a $20 bill from the 1800s, yeah, that's probably worth something. So yeah, and not that the economics exactly applies, but I do think it's about something older. And like I kind of went down a pirate rabbit hole for a while because they were talking about how there's this like the code of the pirates and stuff like that. I was trying to think back to Hondo and all that, and I do think if you have this much pirates and Hondo never appears, I'm going to burn something down. For the reasons I'm kidding. The kids say that to express their frustration. I didn't.
No, yeah.
You know what I mean. But I kind of was like, well, no, but of course, like different pirates do different things. But honestly, I would kind of love it if it wasn't that they were saying there was this like universally accepted code of the pirates, like in Pirates of the Caribbean. Just this one like nutty captain had programmed Smee to be like, here's what the code of the pirates, and no one else has ever heard of this. I would kind of love it whichever way it goes.
That would be funny as hell. Also, I want to just real quick. I did a little search here, and The pirate in Port Bogo, when he inspects William's credits, refer to them as Old Republic currency. And when Kim gives her little speech, she referred to the Hidden Nine as jewels of the Old Republic as well. They keep saying Old Republic. And it would be surprising to me if they keep saying Old Republic and it did not refer to the actual Old Republic, which again has me geeking a little bit.
And what I really want to make sure that we're talking the Old Republic, not the High Republic, because the High Republic is cool, yeah, but it can go fuck itself when it comes to the Old Republic. I care about the Old Republic way more, just personal biases. So I really want it to be kind of canonized in some way, shape, or form, like at least 1,000 years earlier.
Right, because what you all are talking about is kind of like the Knights of the Old Republic, you know, the EU.
Yeah.
Right, like the actual like thousands of years
non-canon.
ago Old Republic.
Right.
And
Darth
like
Revan, Bastila Shan.
I mean, I like them being present here, and like, you know, the currency being called Old Republic. And like again, like he has these like Wynn carries around these jet, like they know about the Jedi and the Sith, and like he carries around these like very like, I mean, they're kind of old looking things, but like it's like the classic Jedi versus like it's just the Sith were not well known at all in the world. Like in the Old Republic, the Sith were super well known because there was a gazillion of them, and they would attack the Republic, and they were like a well-known entity. In the era of the Republic before the Empire, the Sith were not a known entity. Like they didn't know who people didn't. The average like Republic citizen had no idea what a Sith Lord was.
Right.
So it would be weird to me, actually, if I think about it, and I have not thought about this till now. It would be weird to me for a child to know about the Sith, especially without knowing about the War with the Empire or Palpatine or any of that, because that's when the Sith revealed themselves, which leads me to believe, now I've just convinced myself on this podcast right now, but it 100% is the Old Republic, because there's no way that Wim knows about the Sith and has these like Jedi versus Sith, you know, little things.
I mean,
it is the Old Republic.
I like that thinking. I'm not sure that that's accurate. I know that in some of the books they've established that like that people, they don't think the Sith are around. They think they were defeated 1,000 years ago, and it's more like they're legends and fairy tales. But that like often the Sith are referred to as like, oh yeah, way back in the day, you know, we fought the Sith. So I hear where you're going, and I feel like the phrase the Old Republic has definitely been used for the time before Palpatine. So I want to be a little cautious about like hoping too much of that, because I think we do have to have some like, yeah, it seems like we have established that there is the High Republic, and then there's the fate of the High Republic into the Empire. We don't know what the time before the High Republic should be called. Having it be the Old Republic would make sense, but like, yeah, there's just
Listen,
we had
I
so much
like
time
to
of
throw
thinking
all
like
caution
be a
to the
one
wind.
for one crossover, and it hasn't. I just want to be cautious there.
I like to throw all caution to the wind. I'm gonna stick with my beliefs, just because I feel like it'd be more fun that way. But also,
Fair.
I get what you're saying. But like in the books and stuff, is it ever just like an average person talking about the Sith of old, or are they usually people like acquainted with the Jedi?
Yeah, like I think I'm trying to remember in Darth Plagueis, but I think that when like you know, they first reveal themselves to the Neimoidians are like, wait, the Sith, those are just legends. Like,
But
we've
also,
heard
Darth
the word.
Plagueis is now not canon. So within the canon universe, I don't personally know, and there could be stuff out there. I don't personally know of the average citizen knowing about the Sith. So it just feels weird to me that this child does.
Right. Yeah, no, I think it's true. I think it's definitely true. We'll see.
Man, this has the potential to be something really cool now. I lied. The stakes are high. The stakes are high, everyone.
Look, for me it's Hondo. For you guys, it's the Old Republic. I think it's totally fair.
I mean, I want to see Hondo too, but
there's a lot more we could go into, and I don't want this to go too long, but let me just ask, what y'all think about Tim Burton or Singh?
You mean the voice actress for the lead role in Brave, the Disney Pixar film?
No way.
Merida in Brave.
No way.
Does anyone remember the actual character's name?
I think it's Merida or Meredith or
no, not in Brave. In this
Alex.
ADHD podcast that Star Wars.
The Merida, by the way.
Merida.
Anyway, what's the character's name in Skeleton Crew? The
I'm
one who
trying to figure it out. Skeleton Crew. Hold on, because I saw this on Star Wars' Instagram, because they We're saying she's our queen. Hold on. Someone yap.
No, I'm sure.
I found it. Pocket, Pokkit.
Yes,
Pocket
voiced
the
by
bounty
Kelly
hunter.
McDonald.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what'd y'all think of her?
Uncomfortable. That's when my
Mhm.
mom walked in the room and went, ew. Because my mom can't handle anything uncomfortable. Like, she hates whenever I wear white contacts. She hates that I cosplay a zombie. Like, anything slightly gory or unhuman, she hates it. So she was not vibing with her. I was trying to figure it out because it's like, it's kind of giving Aura Singh, but like, if Aura Singh killed people by beating the shit out of them instead of like sniping them,
Yeah.
like if she tore them apart, like fucking ripped their hair out.
Punk rock or sing.
Punk rock Aura Singh.
Yeah, that could
Low
fit.
key.
That could fit.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't
agree.
know what I think about her. She's suspicious.
I'm just confused as to how Jod, like Homeboy seems to be getting around, like he has been swindling so many different entities, it seems very Han Solo of him.
Yeah.
To just like everyone has a different name, everyone seems to be mad at him and not trust him. Everywhere
Mhm.
they go, they're like, kids don't trust him. He's like, come on, man.
He's like, no, guys,
So it
it's
was
okay.
just
You
funny,
can
I think,
trust
to
me.
see that she's another one that just doesn't trust him. But she was kind of like, she's giving me kind of creepy vibes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she like, whereas Kim doesn't trust him and had good intentions, Pocket doesn't trust him and has very, very bad intentions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we know that she survived? She wasn't with the group that got acided, right?
No,
I don't think so. We don't know for. I mean, it's all off
implied she
screen.
just. I thought it was implied that she just kind of delivered the info, and then the pirates did their own thing.
Right.
But she also said, like, I wouldn't dream of telling anyone else about this, and that made me feel like she was like trying to like just get more money from whoever she could on this bounty.
Yeah.
So she may have been a snitch, but she did not have like honorable purposes like our boy
Yeah.
Long Snoot.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you're wondering what we're talking about with Long Snoot, that was something we discussed in the members only content last week, which Long Snoot, it's a story from a certain point of view, a great set of like short stories about about A New Hope. We're going to do those for every major Star Wars property. And it's member only content, which you can get if you become a member. $5 a month. How much is it a year, Alex?
$55 a year.
$55 a year, $5 a month. What else do you get, Aaron, besides bonus content at the end of episodes?
Extra book club monthly episodes.
You get extra book club, mostly monthly episodes. It's been December. We've been a little crazed, but we'll be starting that back up in January. You get ad-free content. Most of all, though, you get to make the creation of making us smile. And if you haven't seen Alex Corman's smile, it's truly a wonderful thing. You get to know that you've made that happen by becoming a member, helping us keep the lights on, helping us keep things going into the new year. Today, we're going to do some bonus content, wrapping up 2024, our favorite things of the year, and our best hopes for 2025. It's only $5 a month, $55 a year. All the information is in the show notes or on the website, theethicalpanda.com. So back to that. Yeah. Any other last thoughts on Tim Burton?
I just want to discuss the Mud World for a second. It was just very silly to me, but in a good way, that like this ancient pirate stronghold was now just buried behind a freaking spa that like corporations were going to for their like corporate retreat. It's literally like a corporate retreat was going down for the banking clan. And these children are trying to find this like ancient pirate stronghold. And like some of the characters like involved, I mean, like that weird giant like Cthulhu looking guy who like was just chilling and then like broke the door of it. Like, what was his deal? He was fun. I liked him.
No, he was such a chill dude.
He was such a chill dude.
We got a hut. We got a hut in this story.
We did get a hut. It was going to eat the attendant.
Yeah.
I think it did eat the attendant.
He was like, not again, sir. Please, not again. Not again.
Yeah, so I don't know,
like
yeah, there's something that happens with the hut to justice system, because clearly the guy's been through it before, so I don't really know what that was about. But and that was not a droid; that was a living like being.
Yeah, that was really fun, and like it was funny too when like Josh trying to impersonate like the professor, and then the security guard goes, Professor, whatever his name, Professor so and so. Yes, from Scipio. Run.
He doesn't even try.
It's like run.
Maybe that's why everyone hates him. He's bad at bullshitting.
Just to throw in some names here, Lanupa is the name of the planet. And the being who, as you said, is kind of Cthulhu-like, clearly the writers had that same thought. It's Cthulhu.
Yeah. I thought that because the name sounded like Cthulhu to me when they said it, and I couldn't remember it, but I was like, it looks like Cthulhu.
Yeah.
I just thought that like they had some very fun characters that were like, just to help move the story along.
Also, I realized I was incorrect about something. I knew that Steve Urkel, Jameel White, the actor who played Steve Urkel in Family Matters long ago,
he's the pirate, right? You said he was the dad. He's the pirate, right?
Yeah, he's the pirate. For some reason, I thought he was the dad, but no, he was the pirate.
The
Gunter.
cyborg eye, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So,
I want to make sure my homeboy Cthulhu, whatever how do you say it?
Cthulhu.
Well, yeah, sure. I want to make sure he's okay because those pirates came in right after them, and there's only one way in. So I hope they didn't shoot my boy.
I mean, he's really big. Like he's probably fine.
Yeah, I mean, homeboy probably could have beaten those pirates up. I'm a little confused why he did not.
He's just a chill dude.
Yeah, it's just a chill guy. But yeah, I just really enjoyed like the design and the idea that like it's just buried treasure could be hiding anywhere. That's what the exciting part of like buried treasures for me, and like that's why I like National Treasure so much, is like the world's greatest treasure just under a church in Boston, or like under Mount Rushmore. Sorry, spoilers if you haven't seen the movie that came out 20 years ago.
Oh my God.
Or like I don't know, like if like buried treasure for pirates just being in islands that are just off the coast. It's just cool to me that like this great little treasure hoard is just under this freaking spa.
Yeah, like one of my favorite scenes of Indiana Jones is in the third movie, Last Crusade, where they're finding like the clues in the Italian library.
Yep, and he has to break.
Things that are just like written on the
floor. He thinks the stamp is the loud noise. So silly.
It's great.
I thought it was really funny to see just 33 going through every emotion during this trip. Of he's like, oh, it's probably some bloodthirsty pirates. John's like, pretty sure that's a pleasure yacht. And he's like, where are the death pits, the fighting rings?
He's so upset.
I'd be upset
what have they done to my boy? That's exactly what it was giving.
The kids being the elders, and he like makes up this language. And I don't know if you guys watch the subtitles. I do, and it just said John speaks gibberish, and it was just
that's actually incredible.
And last we did get a little scene at the front with the parents, so it's kind of fun seeing that like that's going on, and that they're now pushing to like break the rules and violate the barrier.
You get to see that Wendell is just about as effective as Wim.
Yeah.
That was tough to watch.
Like, bro,
he's
like,
doing
show
his
me
best,
your hand,
guys. He's doing his best.
Sir, show me your other hand. Sir, show me both of your hands at the same time.
That poor droid.
I have one more question before we go to member bonus content. Yep. I would just like to know if either you have any thoughts or theories on who the administrator is on Atatin, because I am just curious if it's even a real person or if it's a droid or some sort of like something. It could just be a droid that was created thousands of years ago and has been running this show the whole time. I just don't know who would be running this and how you would trust like a living being to be the administrator for generations to come. Is it like a secret king? Is it a?
So I'm going to tell a Christmas story. Oh, many years ago, when I was about 10. My parents like wrapped some of the presents and put them under the tree a couple of days early. And I got it in my head to start trying to like shake the boxes and feel them and like feel and try and guess exactly what they were. And there was one thing that I really wanted that was pretty expensive that I didn't think my parents were going to get me for Christmas, but I convinced myself that one of the presents was that, and it wasn't, and I was really disappointed. And because of that, when there's something that I really want, and I start seeing clues that I might get it, I have learned to be very, very careful.
Now I want to know even more, Matthew, what your thoughts are. What do you want?
Oh, is it not really obvious? Aaron, can you guess it?
Am I stupid?
The administrator should be Hondo Anaka. Like that seems exactly what this is.
That
And
would be
Hondo is like
comedy.
playing the long con to try and get the treasure that's on that planet somewhere.
That would be wild.
I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think that's what the box under the tree is. But I've seen a couple of TikToks that do a lot of like, look, this clue and that clue and that clue, and I've stopped watching them. I stopped watching them. So my point is, I don't want to answer your question. Because my
Okay.
answer would be Hondo Anaka, which doesn't actually make any sense, and I don't want to get excited for it. So I'm just going to leave that box under the tree.
No,
But
because
Aaron, if you want to shake the box, go ahead.
what's funny is my answer was gonna be, I was gonna say this makes no sense and I can't back it up, but I feel like it's the pirate, whatever his name is, Rock,
Oh.
Shock, whatever that guy.
He
Like, what if he found it? He killed the rest of his crew, and he was like, "Shit, now this is my place. Let's go."
Damn, that actually
He's
be
kinda,
kind of
like, balled out.
That's why you can't
Or-
see his face in the hologram.
Or there's something that I had also thought of a while ago. I don't know if I ever brought this up, but I almost wonder, like, what if he's from Atten?
Who, the Pirate King?
Yeah, yeah, and that's why, like, he had them destroy the coordinates, and that's why he was like, if anyone comes looking for the treasure, pull them apart. Because he didn't say if anyone's trying to get home, or if anyone's like, specifically, it was like if people are getting greedy, but also he's a pirate. So of course he's talking about treasure.
I like your first idea, I think, because that's why we couldn't see his face in the hologram. All he like tries his best to like destroy. He like why else would he be going to all the other ad worlds to destroy the coordinates to Atten?
The only thing is, like, how old would this motherfucker be? Because it's
There's-
clear that 33's been gone a long time if they built all of Lenupe.
I mean, there are species that live for, you know,
Hundreds.
a very
yeah.
long time. Like
Mhm.
Yoda species lives for
I
900
mean, yeah,
years.
Yoda.
We know
Fact.
Wookiees live for like 300 or 400 years.
The elves of Tamriel live for thousands of years. I'm kidding. I'm sorry.
I don't
all right.
know what that is.
But yeah, I feel like, or maybe the pirates, like a robot, or maybe like, you know, I mean, in the EU, the Sith Emperor lived for like millennia too. There are ways. I feel like it would not surprise me to have a Star Wars being live for a very long time.
True. True.
I don't know,
Eldritch
or maybe
Embryo,
it's
by the
his
way, is a
descendant.
reference to Elder Scrolls, Morrowind, and Skyrim, and all that.
Yeah, they live for a long time. And I don't know. I feel like it just could be possible. Could be his descendant. Could be like his great grandkid. The only thing I don't want it to be is like a Jedi or a Sith or some weird like Force user running the show. Because that would feel like,
Yeah.
Well, if it was like a Sith who's just been holding this place down. Like, I don't know. Unless it was like, no, that'd be stupid too. I was like, well, unless it was Maul who took over, but that'd be dumb too.
The only way I'd be okay with it is if it ties into the Acolyte. Because I have been having a lot of fun with the people who all hated on the Acolyte being like, okay, fine, I guess Skeleton Crew's pretty good, even though all Star Wars is woke and dumb, you know, all that nonsense. And so if it does tie into the Acolyte somehow with the Sith, I'd be like, ah,
That
yes,
would be
it'll never
incredible.
die. But you know, who knows? So all right. I think this is a good place to wrap up now that I've completely jumped the shark. Aaron, did you have the last comment? You're frowning at the TV.
No,
Cool.
no, I don't.
What was the name of the planet again?
Lenupa.
Thank you.
Lenapa.
Thank you, Lenapo.
Anyway, yes, thank you all so much for listening. If you are a member, you can stick around for the bonus content where we wrap up 2024, talk about our expectations and hopes and dreams and ideas for 2025. If you want to become a member, you can do that, and then you get to re-download this podcast, listen to old episodes, listen to new episodes, listen to our ads for Audible, which we didn't do, but you can also get through our show notes, lightsabers, podcasts, books on tape. Why do I keep saying books on tape? There hasn't been a book on an actual tape
Audiobook.
in 30 years. Audiobook. Thank you. That's the better term. We've spoken.
Stay classy, Lenapo.
Contact waste removal. We may have a situation.
What a good show.
What a
What a great
good
show.
show.